Topics for the next few weeks. And today's hot topic is going to be sharing, and I actually shared this at the Pulse conference recently, how to become a trusted advisor. So, as a CSM, most of the common questions I get from that team is how do I get out of this reactive mode? I'm so tactical, I just don't feel like I can stay ahead of the game. So I did spend my speaking session on the very specifics about how to make that transition from being very tactical to being a bit more like an advisor and getting the conversation to change to something a bit more strategic, where you're really starting to understand your customer, their business, how they operate, what their top priorities, where are they going, so that maybe you could guide their understanding of how to take advantage of the roadmap you put in front of them so they can enable some of their own top initiatives to come to fruition, as well as for them to be able to hit all of their top goals and objectives and targets for the year as well. So what it is it's about changing the conversation with your customer. When they get tactical, you're going to go more strategic. So first thing is manage the customer experience, where you get to still control the experience your customers have with your company, and it can start with you. So if you manage the experience to change that conversation to be talking more about the value they're going to get and how what you offer can really help enable some of those top initiatives and those top goals and objectives for them to be able to meet those. That's where, if every touch point in every meeting you have with them, you're having that kind of a conversation, then you're going to get the customer to go, oh, wow, I didn't think about it that way. So, great example is a customer gives you a tactic, ask some why questions behind the tactic. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to solve? How does that help you to meet some of these goals and objectives you have? If you get them to talk about the bigger picture, you might actually change your answer. So instead of just answering the tactical the way you might have, like, oh, well, here's what you do, you might actually get to a point where you are changing the strategy and looking at their roadmap with them and saying, well, see how here on the roadmap, these are the next things we're going to do with you. Well, if we do these things, it kind of sets you up for what you're trying to do right now. So maybe they're doing things out of order. Maybe they're missing a step. Maybe they're not understanding where they're trying to go. And you putting the roadmap in front of them is helping them to realize where they're trying to get, where they're actually going. So it might actually change what you recommend to them in how to achieve or solve the current issues or challenges or problems that they're facing right now. And in order to do that, the second thing you have to do is become an expert. Know your products, know your services, know how your company pitches who they are as a company, know how sales presents the products and services, how they demo it. The more you understand, the more knowledge you can bring to that conversation. So when the customer brings these things up, you can say things like, well, now that I know how you're trying to do this, have you looked at or have you thought about, and you might be showing them a whole nother area of the product that were, or engaging them or plugging them into a type of service they didn't even know you had. And so now you're changing everything about how you're helping your customer become more entrenched and more fully adopted in your products and services. And the third thing is, now that they're making progress on the roadmap, show them the progress on the roadmap. Publish that to the entire team, including some of your stakeholders and your key buyers and executive sponsors. That's super important that they know how far they've come and the changes and transformations they've already made. And the fourth one is making sure that in that roadmap, you have defined high value outcomes, not just an outcome that they gave you, but turn any outcomes that they desire into higher value outcomes that actually make a difference in their business, helps them to lower costs in some way, helps them to enable new revenue streams. That, over time, when you are delivering multiple high value outcomes, will turn into those hard ROIs that they're going to be able to tout and say, we were able to save, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year because you optimized my organization. So we actually didn't need to hire more people because we just got better at what we were doing. Or what you did actually enabled us to increase our sales for the year or to enable a new revenue stream altogether. Those are the things that then turn into hard ROI, where they're saying, wow, you guys are paying for yourself, and you're a great partner because you're helping my business. And the fifth thing is think about providing valuable information every time you talk to your customer. So before you get on a touch point with a customer, think about what the meaning of that is. And I talk about how you can set the meeting, set agendas, all of that. But make sure you are prepared and that every meeting becomes where you're giving them some kind of valuable information and something they didn't know before. That starts to shift the relationship into they start looking at you as an advisor, somebody they're going to call and say, hey, we were thinking about making this change, or these are the things coming down. Just want to get your opinion, get your thoughts. You seem to have a lot of really good knowledge about, our industry and our market, and maybe you can be helpful in helping us to see how you guys can help us through this transition. Now they're coming to you for advice. And basically what you want with every touch point is the feeling that you are guiding them to be more innovative, to be more mature, because there's also a maturity that has to happen in most of these organizations. And it's helping them to stay competitive. And they're going to start to see that. Now they're going to start to see you as a true advisor. And some of the things, the last two things we're going to talk about, one of them is super important, which is the best way to get out of reactive mode and get into proactive mode is to, every time a customer has a tactical question, an issue, make sure you plug them into all the products and services that are available to them, which means starting to teach them how to self-help. So if you don't have a self-help center, build one. The best, almost all of us, as you grow into thousands of customers, need to create that high touch capability anyway. But it's not just about creating a high tech touch. It's about creating really good, valuable content that allows them to self-help. So the more customers can self-help, the less they have to call you for those tactical items, because now they know where to go get those answers. And trust me, they really want to go get the answers themselves. It's much faster than trying to get you on the phone or go back and forth in email. They'd really like the answer now. So the fact that you enable that as quick as possible through your online content and videos and webinars that are pre-recorded, and just libraries of content that they can quickly get to, the better your customers are going to become much more independent. And the last thing I'll leave you with is just always think about your plan of action is moving forward. Make sure you end calls with a plan of action, and it's always focused on how to move them forward, overcoming challenges, and getting them out of the non-value tactical conversation and into the more high-value strategic and operational and a moving forward action plan that lets them have a clear understanding of what they're going to do next and what you're going to do next to help them. And if you start doing this with every touch point of your customers, you'll start to see that transformation, because you are now owning and managing the customer experience. You are changing that conversation to be more high value, and you are helping to guide and direct your customer towards how to actually get the most out of your products and services that enable their business to operate better and quicker and have more revenue capability. So that's your focus. Hopefully that's helpful for you to see how you can transition from maybe being more tactical and more of like a concierge to being a true advisor and a thought leader and a trusted partner with your customers. Until next time, I'm Jackie Golden with LandNExpand. If I can help in any way, please reach out to me either via LinkedIn or my website, which is www.landnexpand.com. Thanks. Talk to you later.